Hey guys, Coach Dan here. In today's video, we're trying not to be such weak little bitches. No, lower body day, which that sort of is true. Try not to be such a little bitch when things get hard on this day. This is one of the tougher days I find personally, the lower body days. Got some Smith machine back squats that just crush the soul, and the goal is not to let it crush your spirits or something like that. Nah, it's all going well. Loving training at the moment. Just going to ride this wave. Keep pushing hard. Keep pushing intensity. Keep using a little bit of aggression in each set within reason, not to get too fatigued or anything like that. But yeah, truly, on the lower body days, the goal is kind of not to be a little bitch. I'm getting better at it, but I am still a work in progress. The Smith machine squat, it's good to see video footage. I like filming stuff now because I feel a particular thing, and sometimes feelings are misleading. I might think, oh, the technique was a bit off there, and then you see it and you go, actually, that looks quite good. Your legs get fucked up, so happy days. So yeah, we have a interesting one today in that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get all my workout in one go. I've got a couple clients upcoming, but I'm going to get what I can in now, train a couple clients, and then finish it off later just for, I've got to use all the time I have. Basically, I don't want to sit around doing nothing now, and this is the best thing to do right now. So anyway, with all that said, let's go hit some Smith machine squats. Let's keep the momentum rolling. Keep riding that wave of progression. Keep getting jacked up. Let's go. Smith machine back squat first. Now, for me, the Smith machine back squat, I'm trying to make as quad dominant or biased towards my quads as possible. So my technique reflects that. If you just wanted to make it a general overall leg building exercise, I wanted to make it target your glutes more, it would look a little bit different than how I'm doing it. So I want to remain really upright. I want to get lots of knee flexion and really feel my quads do a lot of the work here. So technique for me on this means my feet are usually a little bit in front of the bar, which you can afford on the Smith machine. With things like a back squat, you cannot do that because you lose balance. The Smith machine allows that, and that could potentially make it even more quaddy. I go pretty narrow with the stance. Toes slightly pointed out. As mentioned, upper body or chest nice and upright. Control the way down. Feel the quads. And again, trying not to shoot the hips up from the bottom. So what that would look like if I was to do a squat like this and I shoot my hips up like that, it would potentially make it just more hip drive and more hip dominant, meaning glutes would probably contribute a lot more to that. So nice and upright with this. Control the way down as always. I like to have like a dead stop at the bottom, which means that I'm not getting any bounce out of it. If you're wanting to be as strong as possible, then you probably would use a bounce because that would help your performance. For me, it's not about lifting more weight, it's about putting tension on my quads. So control the way down, dead stop, maybe a brief pause, like half second, doesn't have to be long at all, and then come up nice and aggressively, staying upright, try not to shoot the hips up. Now, I, these days, lean more towards machines and things of that nature for some things because of the stability. So the stability allows me not to have to worry about balance or falling or anything like that, and I can really just go really hard on the exercise. So could you do a back squat here? For sure. But these days I do lean more towards a Smith machine due to the stability, so I can go really hard. All right, let's build up to our first set. And again, we're not going to be a little bitch today. That is the goal. Now this one's going good. Having a lot of fun with this one, trying to drive the strength up, which is also fun. Let's go get it. Yeah. Smith machine squat done. Now, if the Smith machine, we're trying to lean as much into our quads as possible, where we're trying to get a lot of knee flexion and stay nice and upright. Here, now we're trying to make this is a step up, we're trying to make this as biased towards the glutes. So if we want to make this more glutey, less quaddy, we're going to go for lots of hip flexion, which is this kind of knee to chest. So hip flexion being knee to chest will help stretch out the glute. Now we don't want a lot of knee bend, so we're going to step back into it. Now the other thing I've been playing around on this one is kind of weighting it with the cable machine and going across my body, because not only does the glute extend the hip, but it also has some abduction in there. Now if I kind of go off to the side here and kind of get my knee into my chest and kind of the center part of my chest, there's potential I'll get more stretch. So I'm going across the body, sort of facing off this way with my, and I'm using my right leg, and then I've got resistance to my left hand going across the body, reaching back, get the knee to the chest, in that kind of position there. So cross the body. Now if we go left leg, it's left leg facing out, this for stability, right arm with the resistance going across the body. So lots of hip flexion. So I've got this pretty high, like nine things of these red things underneath, pretty high, so I can get my chest to my leg on my knee without my knee flexing too much, so the quads can chill. So squats, mainly quads, a little bit of glutes. Step up, mainly glutes. Quads have to come along for the ride as well. All right, not too many sets here, so that's good, 2 sets. And then we move on. Let's go. Next up, GHD Hamstring Curl, or whatever this exercise is called. So you set up on the GHD, you bring this nice and close, or this close, depending on which kind of GHD you have, such that the front of your knees, or like where your quad and your knee meet, are wedged up against the pad. And then we're going to control the way down, getting to full knee extension, big hamstring stretch, and then drive back up like that. So doing it this way makes it very hamstring dominant, because my hip angle stays the same the whole time. We get the hamstring pretty stretched, although if I flexed more at the hip, it will be more stretched. However, if I did that on here, I would then be going down this way, and it will be easier because I'm not going against gravity. So go down to this kind of position where your knee's fully straight, and it's quite hard because you're going up against gravity. Now, these are pretty difficult on their own. So a variation you can work on is like bands. So you can hook a band around here and tie it onto here to help you pull up. Or the other one that I started doing when I first got on here was controlling the way down, a lowering phase, picking myself back up, and then controlling down again. So when I wasn't able to do bodyweight versions of these, I started off with the lowering or the eccentric version, picked myself back up, and then I got into bodyweight. I've done weighted before, but I'm heavier than I was then. So bodyweight should do the trick today. 3 sets. And this is our only hamstring isolated exercise for today.
What a hamstring exercise that is. Get that one into you. So, finishing off the quad work with a little bit of isolation with the leg extension. So my particular leg extension setup, I use these yoga blocks to increase range of motion or knee flexion, because that's going to push my ankle that way, flexing my knee more. I'll also take this back pad here all the way back. Now the reasoning behind that is because the main muscle that we're probably trying to train here with a leg extension is the rectus femoris. It both passes the hip and the knee. So if we open up through the hip, we're stretching that muscle out more. And there seems to be a relationship with training muscles at long muscle lengths and muscle growth. So this in place, nice and tight with a couple of, I think they call these utility straps. This all the way back. I'll crank this as far forward as it will go. Leaning back and full knee extension. Control the way down, gentle tap, full knee extension. Progression's pretty good with this one, so we keep rocking and rolling with that. 2 sets, and that knocks this one out pretty quick, smart. It's nice. Painful, but it's over quickly. That's what I say to my wife. Let's go. All right, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. Another banger. Legs, good to get the first one out of the way of those. That's pretty brutal. Squats, step up. Oh, that's tough. Oh, tough stuff. Now, what I didn't get a chance to film there is some leg press calf raises, 4 sets, supersetted with some leg raise. So my abs and calves to finish. I can put a little card up here. So if you want to see exactly how I did that, it'll be up there. Now, that's a good time-saving strategy for some of those smaller muscle groups. So if I go calves, I do my set on the, what do you call that, leg press, do my set. I think I did maybe first set was 13-ish reps. Walk straight over to the abdominal exercise. Do it pretty much immediately because they don't really affect each other too much. Saves you a little bit of time. So if you're trying to get work in, save time, supersets are a good way to do it. There are some times where it's probably not appropriate, although I can't guarantee that. Like, as an example, if I tried to get off the squat that I did earlier and try to do something immediately after that, there might be some downsides, like my cardiovascular system, just the stress that my whole body's been under might affect the next exercise. So, you know, as a general rule of thumb, you might leave it to smaller muscle groups, maybe, and then just, ones that don't just fatigue your whole system very much, don't leave you out of breath, that kind of thing. And suppose you can go like a bench press into rows, and that not necessarily small muscle groups, but yeah, just be mindful of that fatigue carrying over and then affecting the second exercise pretty significantly. So we're crushing, guys. Keep crushing. How good is it? It's fucking good, isn't it? Gotta love it when it feels good. It's so good to compare now to a couple of weeks ago. I'm just riding high, loving every workout. It's pretty good. Even when they're hard and uncomfortable, it's just much better than, feeling like shit and miserable surrounding training. So happy days with that. All right, let's wrap it up. As always, if you guys like what I'm putting out, please subscribe up here. Click this little button here. If you want to see how I'm training some of my other muscle groups, click the playlist up here. That'll have how I'm training all my other muscle groups in that playlist. And always remember, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.